1 versus 1, fight!
Okay. In this video we're gonna rank the best of the best 1 versus 1 games.
Games where somebody wins and somebody loses, somebody cries and somebody laughs.
We both individually ranked and then we mashed those results together. And now we will have top 10 best games that we can think of, that we have played.
Small disclaimer, we haven't played all the games and not all the games we have played liked. So if there is any game that you think should be on this list,
Put them into the comments and we will try them out the next time when we do this video. Rearrange things if we feel like we should.
you don't need to explain yourself. You will explain yourself once we start putting those games in that ranking list. Which will we get to now? Which will we get to now? Is that a sentence? 10th best competitive game of all time in the opinion of Board Game Hangover. That is the only opinion that should matter is...
Seven Wonders Duel.
That was the longest intro I've ever done for a ranking spot. Seven Wonders Duel is a 1 versus 1 game where one player controls a nation, another player controls a nation, and by a unique drafting mechanism you're getting cards and trying to defeat the other player by...
winning the military fight, advancing in science, or the third thing, if the timer kind of runs out, we check who has the most victory points.
The most unique part of this game and why it's on the list is the drafting mechanism of this pyramid. Some cards cover other cards and you can only draft cards that are not covered by other cards. Did I cover that okay?
You covered it pretty good.
And there are cards you want, but there are cards the other player wants, but if you'd let him have it, he might win. And you don't want to do that in these games.
So hate drafting here is through the roof.
Exactly.
Keyforge. Still your games.
Keyforge is a unique deck game from the designer of Magic the Gathering. So this deck, there is no other like this deck in the world. This deck has been generated by an algorithm where the combination of cards is very unique, the back of the card is unique, and the name of the deck is unique. All you need is this deck and you're fighting each other and you're trying to forge 3 keys. The first player to forge 3 keys wins. You can use creatures to get amber, that is the resource you need for forging the keys. You can try to steal amber from the other players, kill other players' creatures so he cannot get the amber. You
can do ton of stuff. Tons of stuff.
You voted on this game. Stop it. 8th game.
Mind bug.
My...
In Mind Bug, you have to kill the other player by taking away his 3 life points. Or making sure he kind of runs out of cards.
All you do is on your turn, you either play a monster or use a monster that you already have played previously. That's all. We recently did a playthrough of this game, so you want to see it in action? Check it out. It's super quick, it's super simple. But why is this game on our list?
Because very uniquely, if for example you play a card, I could use a Mind Bug and steal that card. Now it turns out I just played that card. I just have 2 Mind Bugs for the whole game, so I need to be careful how I use this resource. It's really fun. And it's always this thrilling feeling of, should I play this card because he could take it, but I want to play it, I need to play it. You're not just playing cards, you're also trying to play the other players as well. Number 7, Hive. Here's 10 gold coins. Yes, bring me my horse.
Seems that everything's in order, sir. Right away. This is for you chess lovers out there.
Yeah, chess lovers who don't have tons of time or are traveling around.
So in Hive, each player controls...
Sorry, I will... No, you can go.
Yeah, thank you. Each player controls bugs. On your turn, you either place a bug or move a bug. And your goal is...
you have to make sure that the opponent's bee can't move anywhere. You can do that by playing your pieces and moving your pieces.
Each piece moves in a certain different way. Some of the pieces can climb over other pieces. Some of the pieces can move more than 1 space. Some move only 3 spaces. Some jump over other pieces. Because this game does not have a board. You kind of create the board as you play.
There is 0 luck in this game and it's fantastic and it's so quick that even if you lost you feel like, let's do another one, I'll get you next time.
Number 6, best game of all time.
War of the Ring. You could also almost feel like / Star Wars Rebellion. Completely different but similar ideas in 2 different genres, so both of them work.
Yeah.
And the winner is whoever accomplishes their objective, which from both sides, the shadow side and the free people side, is quite different. The shadow player needs to get a hold of a stronghold, and yeah, the free people need to get the ring to the Mount Doom. This is massive. This is a game that you will play for 4 hours.
So this is essentially Lord of the Rings in a box.
Play events with the things that happened in the books. If you're a Big fan of that. If you want a massive game, there's no questions. I haven't played Star Wars Rebellion, unfortunately.
It's his fault why it's not gonna be on the list.
Yeah, Star Wars
If
sucks.
I had a sorry.
Next pick
Okay.
is Undaunted.
Haha! Some war games. Undaunted is a series of deck building war games where two players fight each other on different battlefields, where each player plays soldiers, tanks, and all kinds of ground things. And then there's the Undaunted Battle for Britain,
Where you play with airplanes. Woo! In World War II. Rough forces are against the Luftwaffe, and they're fighting in different scenarios and trying to complete missions. Fly around and shoot each other.
Deck building is the main mechanism that kind of drives the game. You draw cards and then you have to play them, and then there are some that move your plane, some that give you more cards into your deck, some that remove bad cards from your deck. If you play a deck building game, you know what's it all about. If compared to the older Undaunted games, then I feel like Battle of Britain is better.
Really gives you the feeling of you are in planes because you can never stop, you always have to move. Gameplay is brilliant, especially if you're a history nerd.
Which I am.
Which you totally are! Star Wars deck building number 4.
And you said Star Wars sucks, so Star Wars doesn't suck.
It does.
No, it doesn't. In Star Wars deck building game, one player plays the light side, the other player plays the dark side, and the only way to win this game is by destroying 4 bases of the opponent.
This is a deck building game, as the title will say. Get new cards, build your deck, and attack the opponent. You have Galaxy Row, basically the market, and you can attack it. What?
So you can either buy cards that you want or kill off cards that the other player might want, and then also attack the other player. And there are quite a bit of choices in this little card game, yet it takes around 20 minutes to play. So this game is on the list because it's Star Wars, right? That's like number 1.
Really well shows off the characters, and they have like really powerful powers, and it's still really cool to play the Darth Vader. Even if I'm not the biggest Star Wars nerd, I still really enjoy the theme and the way it works here. It's really great.
This joke backfired. Because I thought you were gonna say, no, it's not, and then yeah, it just comes through. It was a joke. Number 2 is the quick-paced gameplay, and number 3 is how aggressive it can be. And there's so many things you can do to influence the other player.
So top 3, any guesses?
Watergate is number 3.
Twilight Struggle.
Ah, I love it, love it, love it. Twilight'S Struggle is on this list because it's one of my favorite games of all time.
It's about Cold War, and 2 sides are fighting. I think you can guess which sides are those, right? It's USSR and USA fighting for control of, well, basically the whole world.
Pretty much so. It's a card-driven game. You get a hand of cards and you can play those cards either for the event or for the points and use those points as actions.
Playing this game feels like you're controlling the fate of the world, really, because you have these events that you can play. Okay, I'll take control of this part, and you just feel like a mastermind. It might be overwhelming for somebody who just started in this hobby, for sure. A fantastic intro into like history games.
Number 2, now I know which it's going to be. It's going to be
Watergate.
I'm off by 1.
Tug of war.
Yeah.
Where you're trying to get the most influence in the Watergate Scandal.
One player plays the Nixon administration and the other players play the journalist trying to expose the whole scandal. And you're trying to get informants either to vouch and talk to you, or you're trying to silence these informants so they don't say anything. This also uses the card-driven system where you play a card to either for the event or for the points.
What you do on your turns is play 1 card, and then the other person plays 1 card, and then you play 1 card, and the other person plays 1 card. You probably run out of cards at that point. There's also this board presence here, where you try to get these informants, as you said, on your side, and you want to connect them with Nixon. You just place your proof on the board, but Nixon administration can block your way, and these events that just feel so powerful for both sides. Really cool.
Even if you don't care about history, this is a really nice 2-player game that you should definitely check out. The best game of all time for 2 people that get together and want to punch each other's faces with cards
We do that quite often. Summoner Wars!
Summoner Wars is an amazing 2-player tactical battle game where there's a board and each player controls a race And your goal is to kill the other player's summoner. Simple.
Also, play cards and use them in different ways. Build structures, you can play different characters, you can move these characters, and you can attack with these characters.
Just a few phases to go through, but essentially play cards, move cards, attack with cards. And when you attack, you roll dice. Simple.
Each player will get a specific deck. They have completely different gameplay flow, ranged, melee, summoning other creatures, being super strong,
but slow
teleporting.
Yeah. It is challenging, yet it's nice and simple and flowing, and it's just 30 to 60 minutes per game. Unless you play with a chess player, then I guess it could be longer. Fantastic. That versus that game. I bet there are some games we didn't put here that you thought must have for sure been here.
So leave them down in the comments and we'll check them out. Maybe, possibly. And don't forget to support us, because the only way we can continue making videos like these is if you support us and help us out, because it takes time, effort.
Huge thank you to everyone who already does support us and gets to view a special video made just for our supporters every month.